How in the world is it going, everybody? It's your buddy Jesse Wayne Taylor, and I'm back at it again to do a little bit of Bible reading with you. I hope you're all having a great day. I am certainly having a wonderful start to this morning. I told you guys yesterday, everything that I tried to do or work on just did not work out the way that I hoped it would, right? Well, one of those jobs carried over into today because I couldn't fix it yesterday, right? My wife's got got both of her headlights out, okay? And they have been needed. I have been needing to change them for the last week and a half, right? There's a car shop not too far from our house. I thought, hey, I looked up some YouTube videos on how to change your car lights, and it's much more difficult than it is for me to change my car lights. My car is a 2005, hers is a 2016. And the newer they get, the more complicated they get to work on and fix things, right? So I looked up some videos and was just like, this is kind of a lot more than what I feel like I need to try to jump into on my own. So I said, why don't you see if the car shop can do that and what they would charge, right? So she reached out and they said yes, they could do it, but she didn't ask how much they charged. And I thought, that's probably something we need to double check before we just roll up out there. So I called them back and I said, hey, my wife called. She said you guys could change out her headlights, but we would have to purchase them ahead of time because you guys didn't have them. I was like, how much would it be to have them installed? And he said $97 on one side and $130 something on the other side. Apparently it was harder. I still don't understand how they needed to charge so much more for one side than they did the other, but whatever. Regardless, when they threw those numbers at me, I said, well, there ain't no way in this world that we're going to do that. I'm just going to have to bow up, watch a few more YouTube videos and see if I can get it done myself. And so I took my car to the car shop because there's a few things that needed to be looked at on it. And while we were over there, we decided to stop in Advanced Auto Parts, I believe. I go in there. The first guy I talked to clearly did not care very much about his job. Customer service was something he certainly knew very little about. He sent me out to my car to find out some information on it. I came back in. He was working with someone else when I came back in. A younger guy starts talking to me, and I explained to him the whole situation again. He said, well, let me look it up on my computer. He's like, yep, this is the lights you're going to need for your wife's car. Let's go get them. We go get them. As we're ringing up, I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had the right ones. I didn't want to buy any and have to come back out. I go home. I take these lights home. I pull for her particular vehicle, you have to unscrew the plastic lining of the wheel well, pull it back, and then reach up in there and twist the little cap off, and then you have access to your light bulb, right? So I had unscrewed all of that, twisted the cap off, pulled the light bulb out, and I look at that light bulb, and I look at the light bulbs that dude sold me, and they don't look nothing alike. And I know, well, there's no way this one's going in here. I knew I had pulled the right bulb out because you could tell it was visibly blown. Like you could tell there was some distortion of what it was, like a lot of white color on it. It had clearly had its last lighting. So anyways, drove back to the Advanced Auto Parts. Of course, I go in and there's a gentleman working with someone at the counter after he sells him his windshield wipers. The guy was like, hey, can you go put them on for me? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So as he's walking this customer out the store, he hollers back in the back and said, hey, so-and-so, can you come to the front? And the first thought I had was please let this not be the gentleman that I talked to the first time I came out here, because that's going to really bum me out. And sure enough, that gentleman walked around the corner with the exact same attitude that he had earlier, maybe worse. I explained to him the situation. I said, hey, would you mind going outside and looking at the light bulb with me? I said, I have it pulled out, like it's still connected. I said, but can you look at that light bulb with me to see if we can figure out what the right one is for me to get? And he goes, yeah, man, I'm I'm actually in the middle of some paperwork back here. You need to go ask that guy that just went outside with that customer since he's already out there. And I said, okay. Clearly not super thrilled about that answer. So I sat there and the other gentleman came in and I was staring at him all the way from the door all the way to the desk. And I'm sure he was thinking, why is this idiot staring at me? But he finally said, is there something I can help you with? And I said, yes, sir. He told me that you could help me. And I said, he goes, and you could tell he was kind of probably a little annoyed by that. Not at me, but I think the other guy. I think me and this gentleman I'm about to tell you about, we probably have similar feelings regarding this other guy. Anyways, I explained to him the situation. He said, yeah, man, I'm sorry you had to come back out here for that. Let's go check it out. He said, I bet it's I can't remember what he said, a D3R or DS, some kind of, he's like, I bet it's that kind of light. And so we go out there and he takes a look and in like 15 seconds, he's like, yeah, less than 15. It was like 5 seconds. He looks at it. He's like, yeah, this is a different kind of light. We'll go in, we'll return these and we'll find those. So he pulls them up. They were like $140 a light bulb. Okay. Yeah. The other ones I had purchased were $70 for two, and I was very not happy about that number, much less $130-something a bulb. So this guy was nice enough to say, I haven't checked the prices anywhere else. This is just what our price is for these. He said, you might be able to find a better deal. He said, I would imagine a dealership is probably going to have a similar situation. He was like, but you might could check at other places. And he mentioned Amazon, which I was already thinking about checking out Amazon, right? But in my head, I was like, there's no way they're going to be, any cheaper. I get on Amazon and I find a 2-pack of these light bulbs for $35. Before I got on Amazon, I was going to buy the bulbs from this store and then try to find a better deal on some and just return them when I passed by there in the next few days. But he was like, why don't you just go ahead and take a look at Amazon and see if you can find what you're looking for. I'll help this customer while you're looking. And I was like, man, this guy, I could give him a stinking hug. If it wasn't weird, I'd walk around this counter and give him a hug right now. He helps his customer. I look up and, like I said, in just a matter of seconds, I find that there is a pack of 2 for $35. He comes back over to me. I tell him, he's like, yeah, man. He even looked at it. He was like, yeah, that's exactly what you need. That'll do the trick. And I thanked him very much. And I am super, super grateful for that guy because I really needed him to cut me that break. I say all that to say, Amazon was unable to get those light bulbs here until this morning, and my lovely wife did not want to drive my car. She does not care for it very much. I understand. It is a bit older. It's a bit run down, and I like to do some hunting and fishing out of that thing, so I wouldn't say it's the cleanest vehicle in the whole wide world. So I get why she didn't want to, and I woke up a little early this morning and saw that they had been delivered, and I thought, well, maybe I can get out there and have them installed in her car before she's got to go. And let me tell you something right now. Your old bald-headed country boy buddy got out there and installed both of them light bulbs and had everything screwed back into place exactly how it should be before she had to go. And I will say this. I ran in halfway through. There's a cap that you screw on over where the light bulb sits into its brace, right? It's like a plastic cap. I'm assuming to probably keep any moisture out of there, right? But there's a rubber ring inside the plastic cap. Well, somehow I had dropped that plastic cap at a certain point, and it fell, and that rubber ring came out inside where the wheel well is fixed into the frame of the vehicle. Anyways, I didn't notice it, but I kept trying to put that cap back on and it wouldn't stay. It was loose, and I thought, well, something's not right. And I got frustrated, okay? My pain was just ramping up. I was bent over upside down trying to get up underneath there to see it. And I was just running short on patience tokens. And I said a little prayer and I said, Lord, please help me to deal with this without getting upset. And somehow I was able to. It kind of felt like this nudge of like, just go work on the other side. Put that light in. See if there's something you see over there that makes you realize that you're doing something wrong over here. So I walked over there. I pulled everything apart on the other side, pulled the cap off, pulled the light out, put the new light in, twisted it back into place, put the cap on. I thought, man, this is insane. That cap went right on. So I pulled the cap off and I looked at it real close and I saw the rubber ring. And I thought, I bet you $25 that stupid ring fell out somewhere. And I had driven the car without the light being put in there. So like there was a good chance, not far, but there was a good chance that that rubber ring was long gone. But I had the other side put back in. I walked back to the side that I started on and I peeled that wheel well back. I looked and it was it was hanging out the bottom of it. It was barely hanging on, y'all. It was barely in there and hanging on, but I said, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I pulled the ring out, put it in the cap, stuck the cap on, put the screws in, and had both of them lights just as bright as they could be, baby. So I will say this. Some days you got good days. Some days you got bad days. On the bad days, you got to try to focus on the good stuff instead of focusing on the bad stuff. And don't let it get the best of you. I ain't going to say I ain't never let it get the best of me because I sure have. But let's all try to not let it. The bad days, the bad moments, the frustrating things that aren't working out the way we want them to, let's not let those times get the best of us. Because tell you what, that's exactly what the devil wants. It's exactly what the devil wants. Okay, guys, look, I have run my mouth this morning. What do y'all say we just bust out this old Bible and do a little bit of reading? If you ain't got yours, bust that thing out, dude. And if you don't want to hold it, you know the drill. We're going to start off with Exodus 23, and here we are. It's up on the screen for you. We're going Exodus 23 through 26 today. Laws of justice and mercy. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a guilty person by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. That's something we could all think about probably a little bit more often. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd, and do not show favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit. If you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to return it. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you falling down under its load, do not leave it there. Be sure to help them with it. Ooh, that's a hard one to think about right there. Just love your enemies, right? Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death. For I will not acquit the guilty. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see and twists the words of the innocent. Do not oppress a foreigner. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners, because you were foreigners in Egypt. Sabbath laws. For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops. But during the 7th year, let the land lie unplowed and unused. Then the poor among your people may get food from it, and the wild animals may eat what is left. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days do your work, but on the 7th day do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, and so that the slave born in your household and the foreigner living among you may be refreshed. Be careful to do everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. You know, a little side note here. We talked about taking the Lord's name in vain yesterday, and I had to have a little honest moment and say that I had certainly done that more times than I could count in my life. I don't remember doing that when I was younger in high school in the youth group, and It probably started happening when I worked at the gun store, to be honest with you, because it was basically like a cussing contest out there. And I would imagine the old GD cuss word probably started making its way into my life then. And I say cuss word, I think it's, you're not supposed to take the Lord's name in vain. And it was made very clear in the Ten Commandments yesterday. And it was also, I feel like, made very clear that God feels very strongly about that. And I thought a lot about that between yesterday and now. And that's something I never want to do again. I also think there's more ways to take the Lord's name in vain than just saying, calling his name out in a time when you're not like in distress and you need him. Or saying GD. I think there's other ways that you can quote unquote take the Lord's name in vain, but I do know that I don't ever want to do that again. And I'm going to really try hard not to. I'm going to try really hard not to, because he does not like that apparently. At all. And it's easy. Like, the world will let you think it's not that big a deal. 100%. Like, literally all day long. They'll help you think it's not a big deal. But it is to God. So, it is to me. The 3 annual festivals. 3 times a year, you're to celebrate a festival to me. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread for 7 days. Eat bread made without yeast, as I commanded you. Do this at the appointed time in the month of Aviv, for in that month you came out of Egypt. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. Celebrate the festival of harvest with the first fruits of the crops you sow in your field. Celebrate the festival of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in your crops from the field. 3 times a year, all the men are to appear before the sovereign Lord. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me along with anything containing yeast. The fat of my festival offerings must not be kept until morning. Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. That's weird. I didn't know that was really a thing. I've seen people like some dudes on YouTube take a steak and marinate it in milk or something like that. So maybe that was a thing back then too. I can't imagine them wanting to like waste a bunch of milk on marinating a steak, but because they didn't have it like we do at where you can just go to the grocery store and buy more, right? Also, I don't know if I've seen a video on social media at some point in the last few years of this guy talking about how he grew a lemon tree, and he read this part of the Bible and decided to take his first fruits from the lemon tree to the church. And he did that, and like years later, that tree produced the biggest, most massive lemons that I have ever seen. And it might have been fake. I don't know, but it was a really cool story. And it made me really want to try to be very adamant about using my first fruits for the Lord. And I think that looks different today than it did back then, but I do think that is important. God's angel to prepare the way. See, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and to bring you to the place I have prepared. Pay attention to him and listen to what he says. Do not rebel against him. He will not forgive your rebellion. Since my name is in him, if you listen carefully to what he says and do all that I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies and will oppose those who oppose you. My angel will go ahead of you and bring you into the land of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I will wipe them out. Do not bow down before their gods or worship them or follow their practices. You must demolish them and break their sacred stones to pieces. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessings will be on your food and water. I will take away sickness from among you, and none will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you a full lifespan. I will send my terror ahead of you and throw it into confusion every nation you encounter. Throw into confusion every nation. I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn their backs and run. I will send the hornet ahead of you to drive the Hivites, Canaanites, and Hittites out of your way. But I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land would become desolate and the wild animals too numerous for you. Interesting. Little by little, I will drive them out before you until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. I will establish your borders from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. I will give into your hands the people who live in the land, and you will drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or with their gods. Do not let them live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will certainly be a snare to you. We will have no other gods before you. Man, I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if I'd ever heard that one with a guitar before I played it on here that night, but I've enjoyed hearing that one many times. I've listened to it many times since then. It just sounds good with a driving acoustic, you know what I'm saying? Exodus 24, the covenant confirmed. Then the Lord said to Moses, come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. You are to worship at a distance, but Moses alone is to approach the Lord. The others must not come near, and the people may not come up with him. When Moses went and told the people all the Lord's words and laws, they responded with one voice, everything the Lord has said we will do. Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. He got up early the next morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed young bulls as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in bowls, and the other half he splashed against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people. They responded, we will do everything the Lord has said. We will obey. Moses then took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. That is intense. Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of of Israel went up and saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was something like a pavement made of lapis lazuli, as bright blue as the sky. But God did not raise his hand against these leaders of the Israelites. They saw God, and they ate and drank. The Lord said to Moses, come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and commandments I have written for their instruction. Whew, I'm telling you, I might have to get me some old glasses, some specs. Then Moses set out with Joshua, his aide, and Moses went up on the mountain of God. He said to the elders, wait here for us until we come back to you. Aaron and Hur are with you, and anyone involved in a dispute can go to them. When Moses went up on the mountain, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai. For 6 days the cloud covered the mountain, and on the seventh day, the Lord called to Moses from within the cloud. To the Israelites, the glory of the Lord looked like a consuming fire on top of the mountain. Then Moses entered the cloud as he went up the mountain, and he stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I forget about that part. Man, that is intense. That, I will say, as many times as Moses has questioned what God is calling him to do, he didn't question that, I don't think, and at least I didn't see that in the reading. And that's a long time to go sit up in a cloud on a mountain. Exodus 25, offerings for the tabernacle. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to bring me an offering. You are to receive the offering for me from everyone whose heart prompts them to give. These are the offerings you are to receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skins, dyed red, and another type of durable leather, acacia wood, olive oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense, and onyx stones and other gems to be mounted on the ephod and breastpiece. Then have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I will show you." The ark. Have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out, and make a gold molding around it. Cast 4 gold rings for it and fasten them to its 4 feet, with 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other. Then make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Insert the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry it. The poles are to remain in the rings of the ark. They are not to be removed. Then put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law, which I will give you. Make an atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide, and make 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. Make one. All right, cherubim is what that word was. Yeah. Make one cherub on one end and the second cherub on the other. Make the cherubim of one piece with the cover at the 2 ends. The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with them. Okay. The cherubim are to face each other looking toward the cover. I'm going to have to look up what that is. Place the cover on top of the ark and put in the ark the tablets of the covenant law that I will give you. There, above the cover, between the 2 cherubim that are over the ark of the covenant law, I will meet with you and give you all my commands for the Israelites. The table. Yeah, I'm not 100% what a cherubim is or a cherub. I'll have to do a little bit of searching on that. Make a table of acacia wood. I may not be saying that one right. 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Overlay it with pure gold and make a gold molding around it. Also make around it a rim handbreadth wide. Make it a rim a handbreadth wide, and put a gold molding on the rim. Make 4 gold rings for the table and fasten them to the 4 corners where the 4 legs are. The rings are to be close to the rim to hold the poles used in carrying the table. Make the poles of acacia wood, overlay them with gold, and carry the table with them. And make its plates and dishes of pure gold, as well as its pitchers and bowls for the pouring out of offerings. Put the bread of the presence, on this table to be before me at all times. The lampstand. Make a lampstand of pure gold. Hammer out its base and shaft and make its flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms of one piece with them. 6 branches are to extend from the sides of the lampstand, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms are to be on one branch. 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches extending from the lampstand. And on the lampstand there are to be 4 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms. 1 bud shall be under the first pair of branches, extending from the lampstand a second bud under the second pair, and a third bud under the third pair, 6 branches in all. The buds and branches shall all be of one piece with the lampstand, hammered out of pure gold. Then make it 7 lamps and set them up on it so that they light the space in front of it. Its wick trimmers and trays are to be of pure gold. A talent of pure gold is to be used for the lampstand and all these accessories. See that you make them according to the pattern shown you on the mountain. Wow. Lots of specific instructions here for the Ark of the Covenant. I do wish we could see that. That'd be pretty epic, right? All right, guys. Last chapter for today. Thank y'all for holding on. All right, the tabernacle. Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim woven into them by a skilled worker. Okay, I've got to figure out what cherubim is real quick. So we got it. Let's Google this real quick. What is cherubim? Cherubim. Powerful and high-ranking celestial beings in the Bible, often depicted as guardians of God's holiness and throne. Interesting. Biblical descriptions detail them as having 4 faces: human, lion, ox, and eagle, 4 wings, and flaming swords to guard Eden. Okay. I'm going to have to do some more looking into that. How is the cherubim woven into that? Y'all, I might be giving bad information there. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research, because make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim woven into them like by a skilled worker. Maybe there's some other term or definition. Like sometimes words have multiple definitions. Maybe that's the case. I'll look into it when we ain't in the middle of the reading, okay? Hey, feel free to look it up yourself and tag it in the comments for me. Help me out. We're all learning together, right? All the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue material along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and do the same with the end curtain in the other set. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtains together so that the tabernacle is a unit. Make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set and the other 6 into another set. Fold the sixth curtain double at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and also along the edge of the end curtain in the other set. Then make 50 bronze clasps and put them in the loops to fasten the tent together as a unit. As for the additional length of the tent curtains, the half curtain that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. The tent curtains will be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the sides of the tabernacle so as to cover it. Make for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of the other durable leather. I wonder why. I'm very intrigued why he said, I need ram skins dyed red and also other durable leather, with no specific guidance on like what kind of leather it needs to be. I find that to be very interesting. Make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide, with two projections set parallel to each other. Make all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames from the south side of the tabernacle, and make 40 silver bases to go under them. 2 bases for each frame, one under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Make 6 frames for the far end, this is the west end of the tabernacle, and make 2 frames for the corners at the far end. At these 2 corners they must be double from the bottom all the way up to the top and fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. So there will be 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Also make crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west side at the far end of the tabernacle. The center crossbar is to extend from end to end at the middle of the frames. Overlay the frames with gold and make gold rings to hold the crossbars. Also overlay the crossbars with gold. Set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown you on the mountain. Make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen with cherubim woven into it by a skilled worker. Okay, there's got to be another definition. That's got to be like a kind of like, yarn's not the right word here, but like a type of something you can sew with, I feel like, right? If it's being... Okay, so we've got yarn and linen with cherubim woven into it. So it's got to be something that can wind into that. Hang it with gold hooks on 4 posts of acacia wood, overlaid with gold and standing on 4 silver bases. Hang the curtain from the clasps and place the Ark of the Covenant law behind the curtain. The curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. Put the atonement cover on the Ark of the Covenant law in the most holy place. Place the table outside the curtain on the north side of the tabernacle and put the lampstand opposite it on the south side. For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood, overlaid with gold, and cast 5 bronze bases for them. Whew. Man, lots of very, 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 very specific instructions. Very specific instructions. You know, that makes me feel like that, you know, now that Jesus has come and died, which we'll get into that whole story later. Ultimately, I'll be completely honest with you, I lost my train of thought exactly what I was going to say there, but that was what I was going to say. So now that Jesus has died on the cross and he's come back, and that is how we receive forgiveness, and the only way that we can get to heaven, is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to heaven is through Jesus. And the only way that we can get to hea it makes me wonder, especially since if you are a Christian and you believe the Bible, then you believe that you have the Holy Spirit inside of you, which would be the same God that spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. The same God that gave Moses those very specific instructions on Mount Sinai. That same God, His Holy Spirit, lives inside of you. And part of me thinks that God gives specific instructions like that these days to us as well. And I say part of me feels like I feel like the Spirit has given me specific instructions like this throughout my life, but specifically in the last several years. And I would like to encourage all of you to really try to listen closely for those specific instructions, and then have the faith to move forward with them. He's going to give you, if it's anything like the instructions I feel like He's given me, you might not be totally prepared for it, and you might not have all the tools you feel like you need to accomplish the task He is calling you to do. But if we believe what we've seen in these passages through Genesis and Exodus, if you trust in the Lord and He calls you to do something, He will prevail every single time. And He will always be with you. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I was in a talking mood today, probably because I was rushed yesterday and I didn't get it all out of me. Okay? But I am going to shut up now. And what do you say we do a little bit of worshiping, okay? Speaking of Jesus, we're going to sing about Him a little bit. Man, I'm going to have to get me a chair that don't... Man, it's rough, dude. All right. Do me a favor. Y'all sing this one with me, okay? Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Oh, Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I have a living hope. I have a future. God has a plan for me. Of this I'm sure. Of this I'm sure. Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Oh, Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. Your word is faithful, mighty in power. God has delivered me. Of this I'm sure. Of this I'm sure. Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Oh, Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Oh, Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. Sing it again. Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Oh, Jesus, you're my firm foundation. hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And that one fired your bald-headed buddy up this morning. I ain't never played that on the guitar till just a few minutes before we started this, and I'm going to tell you something. I put some like holy fire in my fingertips. Woo! Excuse me. Sorry for the yell. Man, thank you, Lord, for everything. Jesus, you are my firm foundation. Guys, thank y'all for hanging with me again. Thank you for doing a little bit of Bible reading, and thank you for worshiping with me. Fun fact, if you've been enjoying doing a little bit of worshiping with me at the end of these Bible readings, I have got a playlist on YouTube, and it's linked in the description with all of these worship songs. So if you want to just pull that playlist up and hit play and let it go, do that thing. That's why I set it up. And to be honest with you guys, I have been listening back to them myself. I kind of, being a songwriter, I've always just kind of that's always how I've made myself perform songs better, is I perform all the way through, and then I listen back and think what I did like and what I didn't like. And ultimately, man, these songs have been changing my mood dramatically throughout the day. If you don't like listening to me, I ain't mad at you. Pull up some other Christian music and listen to it. Find whatever worship music that appeals to you. I know everybody's got their own taste, their own flavor, but incorporate that into your life. Like for me, I wasn't listening to Christian music. Growing up, honestly, I didn't really like the sound of the production of most of the Christian music that was coming out, and I'm still kind of feeling that way sometimes. Sorry, your buddy's just an old bald-headed country boy, and I like things to kind of sound a little country. But I say all that to say, find whatever version of worship music. And I tell you what, right now, if you can't find what you like, you can use AI to come up with whatever you like. Do that. Just incorporate worshiping with song into your daily life, and I promise you it will bring positive changes into your life, just like bringing this Bible reading into your life will do. There's also a link in the description to the whole playlist of all of these episodes where we've been reading through Genesis and Exodus, and we'll continue to read through the rest of the Bible. So if you've enjoyed watching this and you want to start over from the top, go find that, or go hit that link in the link in the description. It'll take you to the playlist. I need you guys to do a couple things for me. If you like what's happening on this channel, like the videos, leave me some comments. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and if you know what some of these terms are that I'm reading in the Bible that I don't know what they are, hook a brother up. Put the definition in your comment or something. Let me know. And you guys know how all this works. The more comments, the more likes, the more people, the more these videos get pushed out for other people to see pop up in their feed. So hit me with those. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, it's real easy. At the very end of this, there's going to be a subscribe button. I think probably like right here in the corner of this screen. If not that side, maybe this side, okay? Hit that subscribe button for the same reason. The more subscribers, the more this content gets pushed out to other people and their news feeds. Subscribe for me on here on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast platform, subscribe on there, and then come over to YouTube and subscribe there as well and watch it. Do the reading with us on YouTube. One of the main reasons why I decided Like I felt like God called me to do this, but I think He used my desire to be able to sit down with my family at night and watch someone read the Bible to us. Like I looked up on YouTube and couldn't find that. I couldn't find that in any of the smart TV apps. And so it was just like, I felt like God was saying, if you can't find it, get out there and be it, right? Anyways, I say all that to say, please subscribe. And lastly, most important part, share this with everyone you know. Let's bring as many people as we can on this Bible reading journey. And like I've been saying, if you don't think they're going to like listening to me, that's cool. I'm not mad at you and I ain't mad at them. Pull up the YouVersion Bible app and share that with them. You can have a robot read you the entire Bible on there. You can do a 1-year plan. You can do 6-month plan. And then there are tons of different devotionals and plans on there for specific things that you're going through that you can tap into. Let's say you're struggling with depression. You're struggling with anxiety. You're struggling with temptation. Whatever it is, you type that in the plan search engine and it will pop up whatever plans have to do with what you're struggling with. And I can't tell you how much of a really awesome resource that was for me last year and still is. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, baby. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.